The message from my brother came at the worst possible moment, and at first I almost ignored it. But the words on my phone screen froze me where I stood. "Aaron, I need a huge favor. Please go on my blind date tonight and pretend to be me." Asterisk, at first I thought he was joking. My brother Michael had always been the confident one, the kind of guy who could walk into a room and have people laughing within minutes. Meanwhile, I was the quiet one, who preferred books and late-night coffee over crowded restaurants. The idea of going on a blind date in his place sounded ridiculous. Asterisk, but then his next message came. He had a sudden work emergency. He had already promised the girl he would show up, and he didn't want to stand her up. He begged me just to meet her, explain the situation if necessary, and make sure she didn't feel humiliated by being left alone. Asterisk, and that's how. A few hours later, I found myself standing outside a small restaurant in downtown Seattle, wondering how my life had somehow turned into this strange story. Asterisk before we continue. If you believe in kindness and second chances, take a moment to like this video. Leave a comment, share it with someone who loves emotional stories, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss another one. Asterisk, the restaurant glowed warmly against the chilly evening air. Soft lights hung above the entrance, and inside I could see couples laughing and waiters carrying plates between tables. My heart pounded harder with every step toward the door. I had no idea what this girl looked like, what she expected, or how I would explain that I was the wrong person. Asterisk, Michael had told me only one thing about her. Her name was Claire. He said she sounded kind over the phone. Somehow made everything worse. Asterisk, because standing someone up is rude, but showing up as the wrong person felt even more awkward. Asterisk, inside the restaurant. The air smelled like garlic and fresh bread. I looked around nervously until I noticed a young woman sitting alone near the window. She had chestnut brown hair, tied loosely behind her shoulders. She kept glancing toward the door as if waiting for someone. Asterisk, I knew immediately it had to be her. Asterisk, for a moment, I almost turned around and left. I imagined texting Michael that I tried, but couldn't do it. But then Claire looked at the door again, and there was something in her expression, hope mixed with quiet nervousness that stopped me. Asterisk, I couldn't let her sit there all night, wondering why someone never showed up. So I walked over when she saw me. Her face lit up with a warm smile that made me instantly feel like the worst liar in the world. Asterisk, I sat down, my hands slightly shaking under the table, and tried to gather my thoughts. At first we talked about simple things, the cold weather, the traffic downtown, the cozy atmosphere of the restaurant. She laughed easily, the kind of laugh that made people around her smile too. Asterisk, but the longer we talked, the heavier the secret felt in my chest. Asterisk, Claire told me about her job at a small animal clinic. She described how she loved helping injured dogs and abandoned cats find new homes. She spoke about the joy of watching frightened animals slowly learn to trust people again. Asterisk, listening to her, I realized she had the kind of heart that saw beauty in broken things, and that made what I was doing feel even worse. Finally, halfway through dinner, I took a deep breath and told her the truth. Asterisk, I explained everything, how my brother Michael had arranged the date, how he had a sudden emergency, and how he begged me to come so she wouldn't be left alone. I admitted that my name wasn't Michael. My name was Aaron. For a moment, Claire simply stared at me. The sounds of the restaurant faded into the background as I waited for her reaction. I expected anger, maybe even embarrassment. I wouldn't have blamed her if she had walked outright. Then, but instead, something surprising happened. She laughed, asterisk, not a mocking laugh, but a soft, amused one that made the tension disappear instantly. Asterisk, she said she appreciated the honesty. In fact, she admitted she had been nervous about the date all week and had almost canceled herself. Knowing the truth somehow made the situation feel less awkward, not more. Asterisk, the evening continued, but now it felt different. Without the pressure of pretending to be someone else, I could simply be myself. Asterisk, we talked about childhood memories, favorite books, and the strange ways life sometimes pushes people into unexpected moments. Asterisk. Claire told me about how she moved to Seattle after losing Her mother, a few years earlier, starting over in a new city, had been lonely, but working with animals helped her heal. Asterisk, her words carried a quiet strength that stayed with me. Asterisk. At some point I realized something strange had happened. Asterisk, the nervousness I felt at the beginning was gone. Asterisk, instead. I felt comfortable, like I was talking to someone I had known for years. Asterisk. The restaurant slowly emptied as the night grew late. Eventually, we stepped outside into the cool air. While street lights reflected on the wet pavement from earlier rain, the city hummed softly around us. Asterisk, we stood there for a moment, unsure how to end the evening. Asterisk, I apologized again for the strange circumstances. I told her she deserved a real date with someone who hadn't arrived by accident. Asterisk. Claire smiled gently. Asterisk, and then she asked something I didn't expect. Asterisk, she looked at me with those thoughtful brown eyes and said, almost shyly, that, despite the unusual start, she had actually enjoyed the evening more than she expected. Asterisk, then she asked the question that stayed with me long after that night. Asterisk. She wondered if we would meet again next time. For a moment I didn't know how to respond, because technically, the date had been meant for my brother. Asterisk, but the truth was undeniable. Asterisk, something real had happened between two strangers who met by mistake. I told her I would like that very much. Over the next few weeks, Claire and I began seeing each other regularly. Sometimes we visited small cafes. Sometimes we walked through quiet parks near the waterfront. Every conversation seemed to reveal another layer of the thoughtful, compassionate person she was. Asterisk, and slowly, without either of us planning it, the strange blind date turned into something deeper. Months passed. One evening we returned to the same restaurant where everything started. Sitting by the window again, watching the same warm lights reflect across the street, we both laughed about how ridiculous the beginning of our story had been. Asterisk, Claire said, life, what a funny way of bringing people together. Asterisk, sometimes the wrong person shows up at the right moment. Asterisk, before we reach the ending, I have a small request for you. Write in the comments, kindness changes everything. It helps the channel grow and lets us know you're part of this community. Asterisk, back at the restaurant. I looked across the table at Claire and realized something important. Asterisk, if Michael hadn't asked for that strange favor. Asterisk, if I had ignored his message. Asterisk, if I had been too afraid to walk into that restaurant. I might never have met the woman who changed my life. Later that night, as we walked outside, Claire took my hand gently. The same street lights shimmered on the pavement, just like the first time we stood there. Asterisk. But this time, everything felt different. Asterisk, because now we weren't strangers. Caught in an awkward situation. Asterisk, we were two people who had discovered that sometimes the most meaningful connections come from the most unexpected beginnings. Asterisk, if this story touched your heart even a little, please take a moment to like the video, share it with someone who believes in fate and second chances, and subscribe for more emotional stories like this one. Your support truly helps these stories reach more people. Asterisk. And remember something important. Life doesn't always go according to plan. Sometimes a wrong turn, a missed appointment, or a simple favor for someone else can lead you exactly where you were meant to be. Asterisk, because on one ordinary evening in Seattle, blind date meant for someone else turned into the beginning of a love story neither of us ever expected. Asterisk. But it all started with one simple question.